Global.Media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne or
Stage, right? Better get us on stage, Michael. How are you? Sorry, Michael. I was celebrating the fact that I'm here within reason, and I forgot to go live for a second there. How are you? How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah, good
I'm just.
day.
I'm
Good
just.
day.
I'm here to remind you that you're late.
I haven't done badly today, though. It's quite good for me, right? No, this is not
I
bad.
don't know about that. Late is late.
African time. Come on now, African time exists.
Yeah, that is true.
Welcome, Prof. I see you. I see you on LinkedIn. I don't see you on my StreamYard yet. I should get there. I'm sure you will turn up eventually. I'm glad you're here, Professor. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic. Michael, stop having a go at me, man. Come on, I'm here, and I've got fun planned for us. And I think this is probably one of our most important conversations.
Oh,
Now, what
this
do
should
we?
be interesting.
Wow. That's it. I've got a show planned. So, Mr. Flange, hello, welcome. Now, look, part of my conversation today will show the work that William's doing. William's
Ah,
the author
good.
of No Human is Useless. William, join the stage, man. Because William, no, I say William is doing something which I think is important. That's why I say I shall mention him today.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's focused on William today. Okay.
Well, he's doing something to help the youth,
Right.
especially in Ghana. So he's got his conference in September.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
which is all about supporting young people and inspiring them and giving them, helping them to achieve their potential. Yeah, so yeah, that is part of my mission today. Hello, Emma, great to see you. I keep getting messages about your what's it called, your Zoom webinars, but the time doesn't work for me, so I haven't been able to join. Now, Emma is passionate about supporting Africa, especially through spirituality and religion. I think that's part of her mission. But of course, she's also someone who does practical things. So she supports young people with her money, which is a good thing, right? And she raises funds as well. My friend Michelle, I see you, Michelle. Thank you for being here, Michelle. I miss you, but you're here, right? I can't complain really. So why has everyone showed up? Not Professor Roxana. I don't know. Maybe I have no idea. William says he will join us soon. So I said I've got several videos to show. But I said I think this. Okay, let's start. The Africa Business Talks. You know what, Michael? I saw one of our shows on Google's list search results page today.
Really.
I was well pleased. I was like, wow, eventually, slowly but surely,
That brought a
so
smile on your face.
it really did. It really did. Some of our conversations now they're getting seen and heard by people, which is it's a good
That's the
thing,
whole
right? It's a
point
good
of
thing.
all of this. Yeah, it's definitely what we want to do. And being that being the fact that you're presenting stuff that's actually channeled towards the youngsters and getting them to think about their future, especially coming from where we're coming from,
Mm,
um, it's a big deal. The other question I wanted to ask you is your name, Annie. I
yes,
just realized this. What does it mean?
no idea, and I'm sure I could find out from
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
find out from my
yeah.
sister.
Don't worry, I'll find out. I'll find out from
Yeah, you find
Chat
out now.
GPT or from DeepSeek, and it'll tell me what your name
I,
means.
I, I don't know. I don't know. It's no Eniakan is a full
And
name.
what and you're from? Are
Uh,
you
Cross River.
Igbo?
So, yeah.
You're Igbo.
Well, my dad is from Cross River, Igbo land, so Cross River State, Calabar.
Okay, okay, so you're an Igbo man. All right.
Apparently, but I grew up in Bendel, so I grew up in Edo State, so that's the other side completely. So that's where my mom's from.
Oh, you could be from Japan.
No, my son was telling me how that's impossible. He says my limbs are too big. My arms are too long, my body is too long, and my legs are too long. Yeah, my key
Well,
man.
it's just a matter of time when the genetics change.
Oh, Lisa, welcome. Glad Lisa's here. Lisa the genius. Yes, Lisa's here.
Let him
I
know
said,
that it's possible.
it's not, it tell you it's not possible. I said, our next show is Lisa's your metamorphosis live tonight. So after this, so we're going to join Lisa and talk about menopause and building wealth in midlife. Something we all need to do. We'll need more of anyway. How you doing, Joni? I do see you. How are you? Glad you're
Hey,
here.
good, how are you? When is Lisa's show?
Tonight. So it's 10 o'clock my time. What's that? 5 p.m. EST and all that stuff. I don't
4
know how
p.m. Okay.
5 p.m. So 10 o'clock my time, 5 p.m. EST. So 4
Okay.
p.m.
I'll be back in by then.
CST, I think. This thing, it's like bizarre banner is doing me in. Right. I guess I've made it my business to always mention that my theme tune is written and produced by Cyrus. I do have to say thank you to him every time. So I've done that right. I've done my good deed. What's the conversation today? So we're talking about how to support Africa business talks. I'm just doing a banner. Why didn't I do my background? I got so excited. Anyway, my friends, I hope you've got ideas about things that we can actually do to support our young people. Because I think all this talk about potential of African youth, I get a feeling that we risk that potential going down the bin, right? Yeah. So there is a danger that we keep talking and then time passes. No, so even though I've said that, I'm always concerned. I'm concerned because we have plans for 2063. 2063. What's that? How many years away is that? 40 years? What the hell are we playing at? What are we playing at, right? Really? Why are we making plans to start doing the right things in 40 years' time? That's ridiculous. Ridiculable, says Michael. In Michael speak. Ridiculable. Ridiculous. That's
Absolutely right. Thank you for using that word. Ridiculable. Yeah.
You're funny, Michael. But no, I think it is ridiculous, though. We have to do better, right? And I guess the truth is that doing better starts from us. It starts from individuals have to be the ones who do stuff, right? Because we're very good at waiting for someone else to do. Like I say, William's doing. Many other people are doing things. Of course, UNICEF and United Nations, or those big organizations are doing stuff. But what are we doing? That's the question. Michelle, don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. He loved that word, ridiculable. It's not a word. Anyway, Michael wants it to be a word, right? Elizabeth, thank you for joining us. Welcome from Nigeria. So I'm so glad you're here. If you want to join us in the studio, my friends, the link is in the comments, so on the event page. So do click and join us, and I'll happily bring you on stage to hear some of your thoughts. If you struggle to find the link, or if you want to send the link directly to you to your DM on LinkedIn, let me know. Just put it in here, right? Just put it in the comments here. Any link, please, and I shall do what I have to do. Okay, we lost Michael. I don't know, Michael. Dodgy signal you have. Joni, you can just talk.
Ridiculable?
No, ridiculable.
Like, I spell that for me and see what I just wrote.
Yeah, I can see what I was going to say. So, no,
Wait, no. Okay, wait. No, I totally spelled that wrong. Ridicular.
Yeah. All right.
Like that?
Yeah. Mine say
I say yes.
Yeah.
I say yes to that word. It's our new addition to the
It's not a
Oxford
word.
English Dictionary.
I don't,
from
don't encourage
the
him. Michael doesn't need encouragement. Like, he does it. Like, he's a funny guy as it is. And all you do is you encourage him to do more, right? You go, Joe. You go. You go. Right, my friends. Look, this potential that Africa has, we risk it becoming nothing, blown away. Like a puff of poof, is gone. And that would be a shame, right? I guess I say that in the context that Africa has so many issues that we need to solve. For our young people to actually achieve one, is it their potential, achieve their dreams, have massive impact that they could have. So part of me is concerned that we seem to be ignoring the other generations. Saying that the adults in the room, so to speak. That's a worry. Why are we doing that? Have we just written them off? I don't know. I don't know. So, but I think okay. And Michelle, I accept the youth are our future. I'll take that. But I think there's also, it's not about how to put it. You can't just focus on one generation, one part of our society. I think you have to focus on all of our society to find the solutions that we need. That's my thinking anyway, right? That's my thinking. So today, I really do want to focus on what can we do as individuals, as a collective, to truly support our youth to achieve their dreams, have the impact that they can have, create solutions, become wealthy and live the good life. Is that impossible? Maybe. See, when I was growing up in Nigeria, I did not, I guess maybe I was just being hopeless. And that's the word William and I use. Many kids are hopeless in Africa. They have no hope. Their hope is gone. They're beaten before they even get started. What can we do to give them hope and show them that there is a way forward? Like I say, when I was growing up, I could see maybe I would have had a chance because my granddad was rich. And he had. So if you can get into a family with money, you make more money. But would that have helped me to achieve my dreams? Would I have just been, another stooge and granddad, in a family business? I love granddad. Don't get me wrong. But look, the truth is, granddad had 9 kids, right? I think 7 of them were doctors. We had a lawyer and an architect. That was a family, right? So what did anyone want to be when I was growing up? A doctor, because that's the only thing that Africans value. Except any hated everything to do with being a doctor. I hated needles. Needles make me faint. The blood makes me queasy, makes me faint as well. Just the whole body thing. A knife cutting into flesh is like no. Now I say this because Granddad made me watch operations. Maybe that was to inspire me, but all it did just make me feel more sick. But I still tried to be a doctor until I realized I just didn't have it in me. I wasn't. That was not my thing. And of course, in a roundabout kind of way, I'm where I am today. Living my dream, living my purpose, making an impact on people's lives my way, what I enjoy doing, what gives me joy, what helps me create more. It's all of that. How do we give our kids a chance to also live that, their reality, their dreams, their hopes, their genius? It's a thought, right? If you can add to the conversation, please join us on stage. Michael, what say you? Michael, come back. Come back.
I can say something if he's gone.
Hey, go for it. Please.
So I think maybe these 2 continents could talk to each other because South America has a lot of sparring countries as well. I mean, Argentina and Chile hate each other. Actually, most South American countries hate Argentina, and maybe it's just like that's on a very, very large scale. Get the countries together and cooperate. But one of who else? I feel like Peru and Chile, Colombia and Venezuela. I don't know. They just don't like each other. Various reasons. That's like that those things don't go away. It's like the Gaza Strip. Like it's just it's not going to go away. So I don't know. I am certainly not any sort of diplomat. But I think I'd be good at that. I would be good at that. You're like, everyone just shake it out. Okay. We're gonna have some fun today. But one of the things that Africans at large are very good at is community. That's something that we lack in America. And so, why not harness the power of community to really speak to those young people about really the positivity of community and like the positivity of where they're from, because there is so much to love about Africa and the entire continent. I mean, like it's an amazing continent. So why not bring the resources to Africa so that they can have thriving lives of themselves? Why not, invest a little bit in infrastructure so they have more chances to communicate with other young people around the world, which is happening right now. I mean, there's people from Nigeria on this call right now, and I am in North America, so Chicago. But I think that a lot of similarities between what young teens in high school or, grade 10 are interested in carry across the board. And it's so much easier to get that information now. And so it's like a whole new perception on both sides, like how people are living. And I think that in itself is going to really revolutionize a lot of young people's perspective on what is possible. But I really do think 100% that Africans, their community, their families, their core unit is so much stronger than anything we have here in the US or possibly in, Great Britain. I don't know, but I do think that, and that is they don't understand necessarily that there's a lot of problems here in the US with just pure ignorance and people, I I feel like we can be a core issue. We should solve like the whole racism issue. Like, what is that? We're all people. Who cares? So I do think, the advent of all of these social media platforms have a real chance to help expand their minds, expand their dreams. And I really don't think they should think that America's paved in gold streets, in gold or whatever it is. It's not. It sure isn't. So enjoy the country that you have and bring wealth to that country and do something positive and and stay around your community, because that's an amazing gift to have, your mom and dad or sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles close by. I am sincerely jealous of that. And so that's a great thing. I have both my sisters here in Chicago, and I have one sister with a sick baby, so I'm going to get her groceries today and drop them off at her front doorstep. And that's like my little teeny bit of community. But it is I think like the showing the youth in Africa that look what you have. You have amazing gifts that other people don't have. And so but yes, but I think like a constant yeah, uh, structural and yeah, infrastructure improvements can really help. Making sure everyone has electricity that's easy to use, and um, you know, maybe like wean off the God thing a little bit, just a smidge.
I love your honesty, Joey. I love your honesty. Look, I agree with pretty much everything you said. So part of the problem that we have, part of my frustration is the electric problem. As Michelle says, I love your idea, Joe. Of course, I think technology. So let's do this. Is what Michelle says as well. But I think the problem is electric. Right? Without 24/7 electric, people are hampered. I can work around the clock. I can work as much as I need to, right? Whereas many, if you haven't got electric, what are you meant to do? I guess you can use a generator. That's not impossible. That's costly. And so you're left to use candlelight or lamps. I'm saying that's what we used to use in Nigeria, and that was look. When I say we, when I talk about me, my friends, I left Nigeria in 1987. How long ago was that? That's millions of years ago, right? I was 13. I'm 50 now, and the same problems persist. This is my frustration with most.
I mean, maybe like stop letting like coups take over different countries, like get Sudan under like wraps. Come on. I mean, like stop electing dictators. I guess you don't elect them, they just come.
Yeah, no, but yeah, they just kind of.
But I really think about more focusing on business that can support Africa and not thinking like, oh, I need to get to London, or I need to get to the United States or Canada. Like it's so vital to keep the business there and know that is really just a wonderful continent and community that is not necessarily everywhere. So good luck to you, you little teenagers. You would do it.
No, we're gonna play a part, Joan. I agree with you. Look, we need to build our business. We need to support these kids to build their businesses. And maybe first of all, it's about giving them that hope that you say, showing them that you have a lot that you can work with. There's a lot you can do now, but then I think turning that ambition, those dreams into reality becomes the problem, right? Look, okay, let me say quite simply, we are very good at wanting from others, right? And I think that you're saying it in the roundabout kind of way, Joni. We need to create for ourselves, from ourselves. We need support our business, our initiatives. We need to support what young people are doing. That's not as crazy as it sounds. I'm saying businesses have to support the community. They want to create more businesses to give us more support. These are parts of the answer. I love your point about religion, Joni. I don't know. You see, there's a weirdism about religion, Joni. You know what it is? I think when it's applied, when you apply spirituality and belief properly, it can make a difference to your life. It can give you positive things in your life, right? I think that when you truly believe that you're gifted, which we all are, we will have a divine spirit within us. Coach David will tell you that. And but there's something missing somewhere, Joni, where we have a continent full of religious people who are living in poverty. What the hell? What gives? That's not what God wants. So what are we doing wrong? That's a question I would love an answer to. No one's ever going to ask me, Joni.
I mean, like, you just you
The
can't
answer to that
sit
question
under a
is
tree and hope it grows money. Like,
Let's hear from Michael.
God, there's trees
Let's
on many trees.
let's
No.
hear from Michael for a second. Michael, what goes wrong? They're saying that we have the most religious people in the world, but amongst some of the most religious people in the world, yet we seem to not be able to get the blessings. What gives, man? Let me welcome Worknesh. Worknesh, thank you for joining us. Glad you're here. I tried to put you on some screen. I don't know what happened there. And so thank you. I'm so glad you joined us. And Michelle says, we can use solar power. And there's basically renewable energy. Africa has sun. Africa has heat. Africa it has water really. Yet we don't seem able to use these natural resources. What gives? Michael,
well,
sorry about that. Sorry.
it's all right. Um, Regarding religion aspect of it, there's, from my point of view, there is a misunderstanding of what religion actually is and what it's supposed to do for you. Um, to think that it will turn into something that gives you anything monetary or is completely and utterly wrong. It's a way of life. Um, it's not, and it's not intended to be a capitalist system. It's not intended to be a capitalist, something that gives you capitalism or provides it. And if you have that misconception, it's because you've been taught wrong or you've learned wrong. And that is the whole basis of the things that when religion was introduced to us, I believe it was completely fucked up. And its purpose was to dominate, instigate domination, and at the same time, um, domination against the masses, and basically relief for the few, very, very few. And the very, very few are those who came in from outside of the continent and basically presented religion as such. And we've been living with that concept in mind for generations, being passed on over and over and over. It's become it's become the thing to do. It's ridiculous when you open your mind and you basically come to realization that it is completely and utterly wrong. And some folks are not going to come to that realization because they're stuck in it, and it will take years and generations of rebuffing the propaganda that has been spread around Africa for years and years and has propped up governments and
Okay.
institutions.
It's a question for you, Michael. I hear what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you at all, right?
Hmm.
So when I was growing up, I used to go to church every Sunday, by the way. And Granddad said, being rich enough, we had our own pew, our own, our own seats, right? And so that's a thing that happens in Nigeria, especially, and I'm sure many other African countries. We believe in the power of God. We believe in the power of whatever the Holy Spirit and all that stuff, right? But as soon as I came back to the UK, one of the first things I learned is that religion is the opium of the people. In other words, it's almost
Well,
like drugs.
that's when you got re-education.
Yes, that's when I started going to church at all, and I dropped religion as a whole. It
Hmm.
doesn't mean I don't believe in spirituality. It doesn't mean I don't believe there's a greater force than us. 'Cause I do.
Hmm.
I'm saying, but going to church, doing religion, whatever religion I can't do because that's just not. It doesn't jive with who I am. Yeah, I can't understand. I can't. I don't believe it. I don't like you. I'm cynical about the
No,
aims, right?
it's not only that. It's you're being made to swallow something that is not natural, and that's
Mm.
how you're responding, Annie. It's not natural to you. It's not natural to where you came from. It's not. It's ancestral. Your ancestral spirits are rejecting it. It's internal to you that you cannot accept this religion or religious thing that's being espoused, no matter
Mm.
where it comes from, whether it's coming from what do you call it, the Middle East, or whether it's coming from Europe. Y- 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 What you have said is that you accept spirituality, which comes from Africa, by the way, and that's what you accept. It's natural to do that. So,
So
from my perspective, I see that you you are responding the way you ought to respond, because when you went to London, England, and you were re-educated, you found out that, okay, I cannot really swallow this. So had you remained in Nigeria, guess what would happen to you? You would have probably stayed the way you were,
mm-hmm.
swallowing a whole bunch of this religious stuff. I do not know, but
No, 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 no,
maybe.
no, no, very likely, very likely. I guess maybe I'm trying to say we need to discover that spirituality and make it work for us, because I think that's a part of the solution, right? It's part, because I say that because
Yeah, and
you know.
that's where the Pan-African movement comes in, because they do identify um, that there are other ways, and spirituality was not taught, by the way. Religion was taught, but spirituality was very much um, given a negative a tone. It was negatively um, portrayed as bad, evil, and satanic. And yet it's not. So um, we are realigning, coming back to that perspective of thinking, and coming back to that way of thinking. But it's going to take time, and it's going to take generations and generations. And like I said, we're going to have to overcome the propaganda, the whatever we've been taught. We have to rewrite. It's like our memories, our firmware has been rewritten. We have to rewrite it now. And the only way to rewrite it is like what you're doing, Annie, and that is communicating with the masses, bringing up these venues, discussing what's actually wrong, and different many people from many areas coming in and exposing us, new generations, with new information, new data that we can argue about, and have good conversations, and you really get us to think about our current position and where we want to be in the next few years or tomorrow, because that's exactly what is needed. And that's why you have indicated earlier that you saw some posting of some of our shows and on Google, and you're noticing that, which means that there are people who are interested outside there, and there are also um, populations who are interested in listening to what you have to say and what you have said, and have agreed with what you have said, and now they're coming in alignment to listen to you some more, so that they can know more with respect to where they're coming from, how they need to think, where they need where where their thinking has gone wrong, and then on top of that, change themselves. Because after they change themselves, will they be able to change the way they bring up their children? Because right now, the way they bring up their children is just not right, is not in alignment with African spirituality and African way of life and Pan-Africanism as a whole.
Yeah,
So
no, I think that the parenting thing, that's another important point. Yeah, sure, no,
yes,
we'll
it's
bring back
it's
religion, and we'll bring back parenting in good time, right? Look,
it's
let's
all
move on.
encompassing. The
Yes,
subject that
yes,
you're trying
I
to cover
agree.
is huge, humongous, and I know you want to focus on a few things, and I
No,
agree
no, no,
with
no,
you.
no,
So
no, no.
I'll
So
let you.
I want to have a show because I got a show planned, right? I got 3 videos to show you, and
Okay.
if I don't focus, we'll be here for 3 hours. I don't
And
want to do that.
Annie,
Yeah.
can I ask you a question? So when I was growing up, I also went to church every Sunday, but we were not allowed to pray for materialistic things. We were only allowed to pray for like someone in our family or a friend or something like up for someone else, like, get better from your illness or whatever, get happy, stop drinking, whatever. And that was so ingrained in me. Like, even like when I saw a shooting star, or like you wish upon a star, like my birthday, blowing out my candles, like you could not pray for like a new pair of rollerblades. Like you just couldn't do it. Or
No,
you would shut
just ask,
down.
just ask mom and dad.
All right.
Weird.
They're like, what'd you wish for? Do you wish for your sister? Yeah,
Look,
I hope you
it's,
did.
it's a weird thing, I think religion gives you peace of mind. Spirituality gives you peace of mind.
Yeah,
It gives
it's
you
about inside. It's not
yes,
to make you a stronger
right.
person.
So that is a quirk why we can't seem to use in Africa, because something's gone wrong. Let's not spend too long on that point. So they'll be there to have the conversation. There really will be, and I know West Africans would be like, "Any, you're evil." I'm like, yeah, I'm not. I'm just being honest with you.
No,
as we are.
You can show your video.
Nicholas, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Joyce as well. So amazing VA in Kenya. I'm so glad you're here. Look, my friends. Joni, Michael, which video do you want me to show first? The adults telling us what they think, or the kids telling us what they want?
Adults first.
Yeah.
Always. Elders come first.
Let's Michael, and as you were talking, I'm thinking no one wants to listen to us anyway. They want to listen to the kids apparently. See, but here's the truth, my friends. I've been here before I got the t-shirts, and I used to work with kids, right? My last role was 15 years giving kids empowerment. Here in the UK, kids in state care, kids with disabilities, disadvantaged children, giving them a voice. And the government said, we want to hear what the kids have to say, because they can ignore it, basically. That's what I found in the end. That's why I left. Over time, the power of kids' voices got eroded, and then it became, what the adults really know. What are we willing to fund is a question that everyone tried to answer. Whereas the kids were expecting more, and the needs grew, and I was like, I'm off. I can't fix this problem. I'm gone. I'm gonna go and make some money marketing instead. Anyway, let me show you some of the ideas of what people think our youth need, and I wonder how it sort of sits with your understandings, Michael and Joni, or anyone else who wants to join the stage and share with us. Let me pick the right one. Okay. My video is a couple of minutes long, thereabouts. So here goes. Here goes the first one.
We are coming up with new ideas, new strategies to really bring jobs to the space of youth, because now we have more talented youth, we'll have more educated, more connected young people, and they expect more. They have aspirations, they have ambitions, and we want to match those ambitions with opportunities. So for us, it's really about not just growing people who go for white-collar jobs. We're trying to see how we can bring innovation into the picture, but also technology. And this is where young people are very savvy. So we believe in entrepreneurship, supporting entrepreneurs, bringing capital to bear on some of the initiatives and ideas that young people have.
We have seen it's no longer just the potential. People have been talking about the potential of our continent. No, we've just seen how that potential to an extent has materialized to actually prove that everything is possible.
To materialize Africa's potential, collaboration has played a critical role with public-private partnerships, unlocking the vast untapped potential of the African continent.
So we think that public-private partnership is the way to go. And that's why UNDP is also investing a lot in understanding the private space, in creating an enabling environment for private sector investments to come in. We have a lot of perception of risks that actually makes it difficult for private sector to engage, and there's also real risks. So we hope that public funds, development funds, can go into de-risking the environment to bring in private sector energy, for instance, trillions of dollars needed to achieve to overcome energy poverty on the continent of Africa. Where is that money going to come from? We think that investors need to come in, and we need to have governments that understand the environment that will enable those investors to come.
Okay. Excellent. I'm sure you get the idea. I mean, she said many things that I think we do need to sort of focus on and address. Now, she mentioned jobs is what our kids need. Our kids need jobs. Now, unemployment rate in Africa is ridiculous. It's ridiculable, Michael. It's ridiculable. Intolerable. That's what ridiculable is. Ridiculous and intolerable. Those two words mixed in one, right? She mentioned, she says our kids are highly educated. I think there's still gaps in education. I think there's still gaps in knowledge and skills that our kids need. I don't know whether they're equipped enough to compete in the big world and to create real solutions, because what we create in Africa has to face the world, and it has to work. Because otherwise, people just stick to the status quo, what they're using now, and why change, right? So, of course, you mentioned the trillions of dollars it would take to transform Africa. Just the trillions it takes to address our energy, our electric needs. Trillions. Where's it going to come from? Is the question, right?
Every country has specific models of education that's slightly different than another, and they all bring different things to the table. I mean, my daughter is going to Cambridge this summer for like a 2-week study abroad for young people going into high school. And I'm like, oh my God, like she's not going to know anything next to these English girls. But it's like what you bring about your own culture, and everyone kind of learns unique things. So I don't necessarily think that they have harbored a different type of education that won't make them. I think it's I don't necessarily agree with that, but I do think that there has been ginormous strides in kind of a Western education in Africa, which I don't necessarily agree with either. But it's just important to know that like what you bring to the table, you stand behind it.
I could agree, and I agree with you, Joe. Of course, I agree with you. There's an issue about education in Nigeria. That's what I can speak from. Michael, you can talk about Uganda. That people don't know, don't acknowledge, and don't want to tell you in reality, right? I grew up in Nigeria. I went to school in Nigeria. There's no windows. There's windows. There's no windows. There's no glass in the windows. Ridiculous. Now, it's poverty.
Wait, someone just popped on and popped off.
Dr. Roxana, she's still here, so she's going to come on. Okay. Dr. Roxana, I'll come to you in a second. I said, right, look, there's no books. So my last memory of Nigeria education was when I was carrying my sister's table and chairs. You have to bring your own, Joni, table and chairs. You'll bring your own. Yes, I'm carrying my head as we walk to the village.
Why don't you the kids make some that then they at the shop class?
Maybe I guess maybe that's part of the answer, Joni. But the resources they're not there. Look, half my days were spent cutting grass, because that's what kids do in Nigeria in school. You go to school and you spend half your day cutting grass around the school yard, you like, right? The football pitch.
I mean, most of my days were spent babysitting, so
not your school days, Joni. I'm saying not at school you weren't babysitting. Whereas
I went to school and then I went babysitting, or I went to work.
I said, but
I worked since I was 7th grade.
School in Nigeria is right now. You spend time cutting grass and weeding. I don't know why. I don't understand why. Picking up rubbish. I don't understand why. I never did. And most of what I learned was simply writing reading and comprehension. That was it. That's the right thing, because it's giving me the tools to learn to learn in England, especially, right? Where's the other things? Sociology, psychology. As Michael was saying earlier, you don't learn some of the principles of life. You learn the bare basics. And look, the last I said about education in Nigeria is that you have to pay, Joni, and people can't pay. They can't afford it because of the way the system works, right? Your parents pay. You go to school. If you don't pass the exams end of the year, Joni, you stay in the same year. I remember when I was, in primary, whatever it was, at 13, I had a 22-year-old in the class. He never passed the exams. I'm saying that is not education. That's ridiculous.
Maybe their parents could help them study.
Yes, maybe.
Maybe they can help them buckle down and get through.
The African way.
But Nigerians speak English, and that's like amazing.
The African way of supporting your kids to learn is to beat them when they fail, flog them.
Oh yeah, that's not good. We need to eliminate that.
Right? Exactly. Carry on. But many kids can't afford to go to school, and in England, they've raised it now, so you have to be in school till you're 18. You can't even leave school at 16 anymore, right? In Nigeria,
here is 18 too.
Right. So in Nigeria, you'd be lucky to get to stay in school to the age, to the age of 14, age of 12. Most people. Like I'll show you in a minute when it comes to the young people's views, and they'll tell you what they really think. So give us a second. And look, the lady on the video talks about what we call public-private partnerships. The businesses coming together to support our statutory systems. I use the word deliberately. Our statutory systems are broken. They're knackered. They're screwed. I could use another word, but I won't, because Dr. Roxana's here. But now we need a lot to do our education system, and we need a lot to change to encourage entrepreneurship and innovation in our young people. Where are we going to start? What we're going to do, people? Prof, talk to me.
Okay, I'll wait until Professor is done.
Okay, Michael, you're a gentleman. Professor, talk to us. How are you doing? I muted you earlier, but I'm sure I haven't muted you again. So, okay. All right.
Okay.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay, so what was your question? I was just getting ready to be there.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. And my friends on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, please, today's video. Make sure, and if you haven't subscribed, do it now, right? Now, Professor, look, how can we support our young people to achieve their potential in Africa?
Oh, yeah. Well, we have a lot of things to give to Africa. Remember that Africa is known as the continent of opportunities, right? So we have a lot of opportunities for those youths, but the problem, which everybody knows, is mismanagement. So it's not that we can't help them. It's not. One thing we do know is that if we actually give out what belongs to these youths in Africa, it will get to them. But the problem of, I don't know, whoever gets to the top, it becomes the same story. So that's why the youths are suffering. But we have a lot of things, opportunities. We have rich resources. We have growing markets in Africa. We have growing markets there, economic growth. So what happens is that these youths maybe finish high school or college with all the degrees they have, with all the engineering degrees, accounting degrees. They come out and become their own, they start a business somewhere. They start hawking looking for hustling. I can just say hustling. The hustle for what to do, get into the market, because I'm not sure that up to 20% of those youths get government jobs. So I think they think they should as well start on time to go to the market, start hustling, like probably their fathers and their mothers. So that's what happens. What happens in Africa is not that they don't have to give; it's mismanagement. That's the problem. Okay, so we have the government incentives, but who gives it? Okay, there are reforms. One thing is that those who are working don't even pay taxes. So I haven't been in Africa in a long time, but I was there for a long time. I was there until I was 40 something before I left. So, but these youths are doing very well though. Even with the mean, whatever they have improved themselves in tech innovations. You can see that a lot of them are good in technology. If you get into YouTube, you see that they have a lot of good YouTube channels. They produce a whole lot of things that but what I'm trying to say is that if we can help them, if we can invest in the business in Africa, that would be great. So the question is, who are you going to trust to be your business partner? Who do you trust to be that partner you can transmit business with? Who is going to be that colleague? Who are you going to coordinate with? Who do you trust enough to invest in the products in their company? So we have infrastructure gaps in Africa, but someone can get in and help them, because I see that Chinese are actually doing that now. Chinese are investing in Nigeria. I don't know about other countries. So we have a lot of political instabilities in I don't know for what reason, but political instabilities. If you are in Nigeria and a Yoruba man is the president, then the country belongs to you and you're the president. Then the others are just like visitors. So that is the problem. We have market volatility where economic conditions can fluctuate, impacting returns. In fact, politics alone can, on Mondays, I came from the Igbo part, the Anambra state. For some reasons, I think for months now, they don't go to the market on Mondays. Why? They don't go to the market. You know what I call market? They don't go to their shops, to their companies on Mondays, because one of their leaders is in jail. So they're all on Mondays, they get mad, and if you come out, somebody is going to catch you and throw you in jail because you are not supporting someone called Nnamdi. That's a name that was supporting Africans, those who are Anambra and Igbos, but they threw him in jail. And since then, anyway, I just want to say that because of infrastructure, we do have that, politics, and a lot of mismanagements, a whole lot of things, cultural diversity, and market volatility, a lot of problems. It doesn't mean that we cannot help. People outside cannot help. People outside can help Africa, but the bad there is there are so many things, so many pros and cons. The pros, I don't know, are good enough, but the cons are a lot. All right, I'll give you back the mic.
Thank you, Prof. They're great insights. Look, the taxes conversation, Professor Roxana. Again, that's one of our hidden truths. So my granddad was multi rich. He was in the government. He owned hospitals. He had money, real money. Yet he won't put his money in the bank. Most of it is under his bed. And they said that's and because we don't want to pay taxes, and Africans expect without paying taxes. No government can work unless you pay tax. The thing about the West, US, UK, and I say the Western world is that we pay taxes. Even the Asians pay taxes in humongous amounts. Africans, unless we start learning to pay taxes, we're doomed. The government is crippled. And so, you mentioned the Belt and Road that the Chinese are doing in Africa. That's just going to be the next colonialism. That's the next colonization, because they're going to come expecting returns, and that's going to be control of our societies, of our communities. Why we haven't learned the lesson from borrowing money that we don't need to fund our government's pockets, private accounts abroad? It's ridiculous, as Michael would say. The tribal politics, I agree. Our tribal pettiness is ridiculous. Maybe because I don't live there is why I don't understand. But it sounds like small things, but I know, Professor, you know too, that if they don't like something, someone doesn't like something that you've done, and they have any amount of power or influence, there's a good chance you might just get a letter bomb that will blow you up. We've seen it so many times. Daily Giwa sticks in my mind. It's a writer, and when he started making noise about what it means to have good governance, they blew him up. That was him. Done. There's many more every day. This is Africa that we're facing. Of course, the issue of trust, I think, is important too, Prof. You mentioned it. Who can we trust? I say, this is all the things that affect our youth. Elaine, genius Elaine, why aren't you on stage talking to us? Please, do comment. I love your comment. Elaine says, by teaching them to collaborate with others of color, we need to see beyond our tribes and see ourselves. Maybe I might even say see beyond our color, really, because it's not easy to build a business by only serving one type of people. But Elaine says the Black adults are not showing strong leadership for the greater good. And isn't that true? This is why I asked the question, Elaine, today. What can we do as individuals, as a collective? And so Elaine goes on to say, in Massachusetts, in the US, Africans are working 3 to 4 jobs each to earn money needed. Why? Is it racism? Maybe. But Africa, there's no racism, right? In Africa, it's our choice, our people. But we don't seem to understand that. It's ridiculous. Sean, welcome, Supercoach Sean. Glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. Michael, I'm coming to you now, my friend. What's your take on what you heard so far?
Well, everybody had something useful to actually expand on. And I've got a couple of things that come to mind. Specifically, and I'm going to be a little bit specific with respect to them. First thing is brick and mortar skills. We're going into the avenue where we're having a lot of IT people, a lot of tech producers, but we're forgetting about our infrastructure, being able to build that and going for that. The thing is that people it's not found to be sexy. Brick and mortar jobs, being able to be a construction worker, being able to be an electrician, coming in and actually doing the work, the building and reconstructing, or even designing, or it's not even the design, it's actually the actual ability to use the materials.
The electrician, the gas people, the doers.
These jobs are what's actually needed in Africa. We actually have to their need, the demand is high. We need to channel our children to understand that's what's needed in order to build an economy that works. China did not come from nothing. Did not come and just become what it is. No, they worked hard. They worked incredibly hard to the bone.
I agree.
to the bone.
I
That's
agree.
what China's done, and we need to those stories need to be conveyed to the children. Those
Yes.
stories need to be conveyed to the children because we have not been communicating with them in
Mm,
regards to that, in regards to how did it happen. No,
mm,
we have to tell them exactly how it happened and how they became what they are so that they can understand and channel their energies towards what they want to do based on what they love to do. Not everybody loves IT. Not everybody. There are some people that just love agriculture. There are some people that just love building things with their hands and, you know, mortar and bricks kind of stuff. They just love that.
mm,
We need to channel. We need to emphasize that and indicate if that's what's needed right now, this very minute, in order to build our infrastructures and to make them equivalent to whatever we is equivalent to the West, but not necessarily equivalent, but
mm.
different, because
Yeah.
these need to come from African design mind, and also we have to resource the materials that are in Africa and make them work for the environment, with the environment, because we
I
have
agree.
that capability. We even have the knowledge. We really
Mm,
do. It's just a matter of us really taxing ourselves to actually implement those ideas. With
mm.
respect to investment, like you said, we do not need investment from anybody. The way I see investment is like this. You're going to be waiting for investment, and it's going to be like waiting for reparations from a con artist.
Yeah. I
You
like that.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You,
It's not coming. It's never gonna come. It's never gonna come.
and that's the thing. Don't freaking do
Mm,
that.
mm.
You invest in yourself. Build
Yes.
from what you actually have.
Yes.
Make it economical for for the community, because the community is the one who is going to be financing you,
Mm,
buying what you build, talking about you, and singing your praises, so that the government can recognize you, and then you can go in and start working on government projects or start working on other government projects within Africa that that you can manage and build yourself. But really, focus on your community for God's sake, because your
mm,
community is the one that needs to be built up. Helping your grandmother and your sisters and actually come out of whatever condition they're in, and that is poverty. Helping them come out of poverty, not running away from poverty. No, you have to confront poverty and beat it down,
mm.
not
Yeah.
running away from it. Confront
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. No, Michael. I love hearing you so passionate, and this is one that definitely drives with you. This is one that you feel, and this is one that you talk sense about.
Yeah,
It
and these are
is.
the things that we need.
Do you remember in the video the woman said, "We want our kids to have not to do white collar jobs. We want our kids to do white collar jobs, not blue collar jobs. We don't want them to do manual tasks anymore."
Your
Ridiculous.
kids cannot get to do white collar
Ridiculous.
jobs until they have finished doing blue collar jobs.
Thank you. Look, that's now again. We're trying to reinvent the wheel. Like we don't know how you build societies, communities, and wealth. We know how to do. We've seen everyone else do it. Why are we not learning from them, Mike? Michael, you're dead right.
And I tell
Start
you, this
from
is
getting
so
your hands dirty.
important.
Yeah.
The reason it's so important is that when white collar jobs fail, or if there is a, God forbid, there is a humongous disaster,
Mm.
you're going to have to start from the ground up again.
Again, you're right. Do
And
it right
if you do
first
not
time.
have the knowledge and the specifics to do that from that you have built into yourself,
I agree.
you're
I
going to
agree.
be pathetic.
No, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
No,
There's,
it's going to be it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a
look,
huge struggle.
there's Maslow's hierarchy of needs where he says we start with the basics, survive, things we need to survive, things we need to live, things we need to build societies, and then we get to the higher order needs, self-actualization, and I guess creating our genius, right? We have to get
Right,
through we have to do what it takes to give us communities those basic things first of all. I'm
right.
totally
And
with
this
you.
is where I come in. I even emphasize this is that you can go and learn and utilize all the nice technology that comes out by the new stuff everything. But if you do not know where it came from and
Mm,
how it worked before
mm,
you got this new item,
mm.
you're as good as you're as good
You're
as
done.
useless. You're
Yeah,
done
look,
because once
I
this thing is
agree.
broken and done for, and you want another one and you cannot afford to get it, what do? You
Well,
got to build it from
as
the
that
ground
lady
up
said,
again.
we want Ferraris, we want Lamborghinis. What are we thinking of? What are we thinking of? Really, that's ridiculous, right? But
And
look,
that
I'm
is
going
what
to
we're
say, I'm going to say,
this is what we're transferring to our children, that thought
yeah,
process. And
ridiculous.
that's got to stop. You can't.
It has to stop. I
It
agree. It
has to
has
stop.
to stop.
And it's called inherent cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
That
Denial,
never changes.
denial of
And
ourselves.
it's a lot like the corporal punishment, and that is a tool to discipline our children, which is a bygone method
Which
that was
it
adopted
damages,
from
it
colonialism.
destroys their soul. It destroys them from within, and we can see it every day, but we don't want to learn the lesson.
Yes,
So,
yes, and we adopted that from colonialism.
I'm not sure, but
Literally did that.
look, even
It
the
came in
colonial,
because, and we learned that that's how you teach people to.
Michael, the colonials don't beat their kids anymore. They haven't beat their kids for years, for
Yeah,
generations.
we already know that, but like I
Why are
said,
we
it's
still stuck
cognitive
there?
dissonance. Africans learned it then, and they transferred it from generation to generation to
It's
generation to
crazy.
generation.
It's
And then when
crazy.
you go to Europe, you come and you see that the Europeans don't do that anymore, which is what you did, Annie. You came to the UK and you found how the UK were treating their kids,
Mm.
and how they were actually, you know, they didn't there was no stick, there's no whip. You could actually report them if there was
Yeah.
something that happened.
No,
And
listen, look,
good God.
I'll say this because I want to say it when I get to Williams stage in Ghana in September. My dad
you know
believed he was being beaten us to within inches of death. He really did. That's why we left
yeah,
him. We're like, bye, we're off.
I've got marks and scars, and this is not
Ridiculousness.
funny.
No, it really
In
isn't.
places
It really isn't.
and then I see that, and
Mm.
then we transfer this thing to our children. We actually end up beating them and doing, because we just don't stop to think and say, this should not
Mm.
happen. We don't like it so much, so why on earth are we doing it? Because we were annoyed that the child did not learn quick enough. Really?
No, because we can't control ourselves. We can't control our anger. We'll take it
Uh,
out on our kids. That's the long and short
yeah,
of it. That's the truth.
well, that's and that is true. But this is a learned behavior
Mm.
from a time or a period that was very, the intent was
Mm.
to make us unlearn what we already knew. No, to unlearn what was good for us in a method that was quick and dirty, and there was no compassion in it, no
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
at all.
Look,
So
so
that's what
that's
we're
one thing.
propagating, and that's why our children also end up questioning whether we love them or not.
Mm,
That is
mm.
true. It's a big question for them.
Well, look,
Does this person love me?
our kids on that peace of mind. They can't create when they don't have peace of mind. That's
Absolutely right.
no.
That's exactly where you want to put them in a position where they love what they do and where they are, so that they can fully come
Mm,
come to
yes,
themselves and actually
yes.
produce something solely for the community because they love the community.
That is a potential. William, I'm going to mute you for a second because you know it, but I'll come to you in a second, William. Look, I think I like Sean. I like what Sean said. Sean says we want to be faith driven, not religion based, for sure, Sean. So we're going to have the conversation soon enough in here about religion. I've tried to have it before, but then I don't know. It didn't go down too well. No, but we need to have that conversation again. I think Elaine, you're my genius friend today. Why we're not connected? Are we connected, Elaine? I'm sure we are, right? But we need to meet, right? Elaine says it should be smart work, not hard work. Look, Mark, I think that Michael was saying that there's a conversation around this myth. I think it's a myth. I think Steve Jobs was the one that put it out there for in the media in recent times when he said you must do what you love. No, How about you love what you do? Then you do what you love. Have we thought of that? That's the reality. We must learn to work hard, Elaine. I know it's smart. I know we need to work smarter, but we also need to, I run a company. If you don't work hard, I sack you. And people are like, why are you so mean in here? I'm like, no, I have customers. If you know my workers, if I'm working harder than my workers, something's wrong. So I'm paying them. Why should be paying me? I just don't get it, right? We have to work hard, Elaine. But look, Elaine makes another very good point. He says, I should pray, cry, and pray. Construction and electrical work in the US requires union affiliation. And training is costly, and many Black people don't want to invest in themselves. I take, construction, look, to be good at anything, you need to invest in yourself. You need to train, you need to learn, you need to get good at it and do it for long enough and keep learning as you do it. This is how we all got here, right? So I accept that, Elaine. You can't be doing water or electric. That's going to kill people. And I've seen that in Nigeria enough times. Electric shocks are not a thing. They're not as surprising as people might think it is. It's common.
That's
Because
why you need to provide
workmen.
you need to provide free education in order to jumpstart the African community. You
Who's
really
gonna
do.
pay
It's,
for
it's
it? There's a who. It's always a who. Who's gonna pay for it?
That's an issue for the government to figure out. But in order to make sure that your people are actually doing the work, free education is a must.
I
Because
agree.
they're not. I tell you, even right now, going to they're going to struggle. Poverty is real in Africa. It's real. They're not going
Um,
to be able to
can, can I say
accommodate that.
something about?
Go for it, Prof.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everyone, for. Well, let me tell you, I schooled in Nigeria. I actually went to high school, middle school, went to teachers college, then went to University of Nigeria. See, that was the time education was free when we had good presidents. So when I went to high school, we had free education. You see, sometimes some things look like they sound like it's Greek, but I went to a free high school. I went to Girls High School, Onisha, and it was a free high school. So we paid minimal, just a small amount of, and then other things were paid for us. We had free education. The only thing we could, our parents provided were the just maybe provisions. We had to live in the boarding house, but the government paid more than 80% of it. So I'm trying to say that education in Nigeria, I don't know about Africa, or was free before. It was actually free. But for some time now, I don't know if it is free. I don't know. I just don't know if it is free. And even if it is free,
It's free in Ghana. It's currently free in Ghana for senior
okay,
high school.
well, that's good. But what happens is that when these students graduate from college, university, they don't get jobs. That's the
There's
problem.
no job. There's
There is
no
no
job.
job. So I just don't know how they can be trained. They got their degrees in engineering, degrees in all kinds of, and they went through so many strikes. You know what I mean by strikes?
Yeah.
Sometimes, oh
Elaine
yeah,
mentioned
oh yeah.
union affiliation.
Okay.
No,
So sometimes you go to school to graduate in 4 years, you find yourself graduating in 8 years. And not only that, you graduated, you're getting older, not younger. And when you come out after 8 years, you don't have a job. So how many years did you waste?
see,
You come out after 8 years, you don't have a
it's,
job. There is no provision for you.
and I understand the quirks. So I run a business. We can't employ people unless they're going to make us more money. So
Oh, right.
we're
So
going circles, right? The market, it's the training, the skills that our kids don't have. Let's start there. They haven't got the right skills that we need to build companies, and then the work ethic becomes an issue. It really becomes, you know, that's the we have to talk about the work ethic. Like I say, you know, unless you're willing to work hard, I don't know
Unless they,
why anyone should employ you, right? You know,
unless
of
they
course,
are privileged. There are
yeah,
some
no, no,
privileged kids.
in a family business, you know,
Yeah.
it's not an open market. I said that's ridiculous, right? You
If
know,
they are privileged, they'll be trained overseas. They
yeah,
can get admission into good universities in UK or US. And so, but how many people are privileged? Out
see,
of how
but
many?
see now we drive our kids into entrepreneurship and they haven't got the skills, the knowledge, the wherewithal to make those their small business work. They're stuck. It's a problem, right?
So
Well,
how many of
any
those kids, that go to the UK and the USA return? How many of them
We don't.
return?
We don't. You
oh,
are the
oh,
market.
we're
We
returning them
and
now. This is what's
we're not
happening.
we're not trained. We're not trained for Africa. We're trained for Europe.
Yes. No, no, but no, we're different people, you know, with different mindsets. You know, so William, I'm going to come to you next, of course, and I think you have something to add to our conversation that many of us don't think about. But I'll come to you in a second. So let
I
Elaine,
think. Oops, sorry.
go on, Joni. Sorry, Joni. Go for it, Joni.
Oh, I just, um, I really do think like the power source is really really a
Mm,
huge issue. So that's like something that
yeah.
get that figured out. But I don't know. I actually know a lot about electricity, so you can I'm all over that. But I know that there are so many great apps for the iPad, for the computer, that if you had a constant internet source, like
Mm,
they're a great learning tools. I mean, my son who's 9 years old taught himself how to speak Japanese, taught himself, he's 9 years old, through Duolingo. I mean, it's unbelievable.
mm,
And so there are so many great apps that can help children feel empowered and feel smart and access a lot of different safe sites that can expand their knowledge. So
I
that's
agree.
all.
No,
Power.
Joni, I agree. You know, power and internet will transform Africa, transform our
Mhm.
youth. They really will. Except the problem we have is that those two things are rubbish in Africa. Electric is ridiculously rubbish in most African countries.
Yeah.
Now, even South Africa, that's quite wealthy. They have, what did you call it the other day? Load shedding. We talked about this the other day, right? Where they turn the power off for long
Yeah.
periods.
But
Yeah,
South
but
Africa
that's
never.
what you mean water
The most
power.
interesting part is that
We
South
load
Africa
shed
never used to
here.
have that.
Hold on. In
South Africa
Nigeria,
never used to have that.
in Nigeria, it's not load shedding. It's just no power for days on end. You're stuck. And look,
We
let's face it,
need a water tower.
our Wi-Fi is ridiculously rubbish. You know, I cry in the UK because our internet's so bad. Africans, they William, you know better than I do. I'll say, the internet in Africa is shocking. I've got two co-hosts, Pastor Hebron and Davida. You know, the one in
So I
Nigeria,
feel like that's a
one
grown-up problem.
so one in Nigeria, one in Kenya. Most of the time, they can't join us because of the internet. You know, look, I can buy internet forever, right? I pay a month and I pay in a month and I get internet every day, 24/7. Of course, it goes up sometimes. In Africa, you're still buying data, which is a con, is the biggest scam there ever has been. What the hell? What gives? We must fix that. If we fix those two things, the world will change. Africans can actually be creators who are doing what the rest of the world they have the same opportunities. So I can't employ in Africa because they can't work around the clock when I need them to work because the internet goes down, electric goes off. Oh man, it's so annoying. I can't say enough, really. You know, let me do a couple of Elaine's comments because she's a
And
genius.
Annie,
Go
when you have
for
a chance, look up Project Loon.
What's
LOON. So
that? What's
it's not everywhere, but I heard about it. It's like It's balloon powered internet initiatives.
Mm.
But anyways, look it up.
Yeah, I like
You
look at
obviously we're not the first people who, want the country to have better internet, but Project Loon, just look it up. Okay.
yeah. I think we're getting there where we're going to have internet no longer through wires. We're going to have internet through satellites, and so that sounds like parts of that sort of idea. Look, give me a second. They say, Elaine says China's plan is to get black women to accept their lower class men, produce mixed children, since black treasure kids, since treasure black kids with good hair, and raise them as kids, and raise those kids as Asians, and then they return those kids to Africa to ultimately take over. The research this is already in place. I hear you. I think this lends more to the issue that Africans don't believe in paying tax or in keeping their money in the bank. Someone was sick and hospitalized. When they came home, the family had replaced her mattress. She lost over 10K. I imagine that's dollars, $10,000 stuffed in the mattress. That's the African way. Why put it in the bank? Why pay tax? No, don't want to do that. Dion, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Mariam, welcome as well. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. My friends, of course, we've got enough problems. William, so thank you for joining us on the stage. Now, this event, I said at the beginning, is a tribute to you as much and your efforts as much as anything else, really. I think many of the things we've said, we need businesses to support what we're doing, support our young people genuinely. We don't need money from outside always. We're not doing enough within ourselves. What I'm saying with it. Now, look, share with us, what is the issue for African youth that we can support them with?
Annie, thank you so much, and greetings to everybody in here. And I actually learned something today about this topic, and I think Mr. Michael was saying something about that, and it's all about unlearning, relearning and learning, and that's our problem, because growing up, things that we've grown up with, we've been told that is the same thing we are following suit. Like, for example, I used to think that you have to buy a car first. Anybody who buys a car who doesn't own a house is dumb. They used to tell us, because they said you need to get where you sleep than having a car. So anybody who gets a car and cannot afford a house is always dumb. Until I grow up, and then I realized that every day I need to go for meetings, okay, and I have this small car. I couldn't have make it possible without a car. If I had to go join public transport, it was going to affect me, all right. But if I grew with that mindset, okay, I'm not going to get a car because it is dumb, I need to get a house first. It's something that I need to unlearn. I don't have to grow up with that mindset, and I think that is one of our challenges. People are still living with the things that have been passed on from generations to generation. All right. And that's one of our problems. Secondly, this afternoon, I went to the Ghana Revenue Authority to license and get a certificate for No Human is Useless, my non-profit. Now, I've already filed it. So I was there, and then I had a call from the officer to come over. So I went over, and she was telling me that the name is very unique, and he wanted to see the person behind it. So after speaking, he said, I pay taxes? And I'm like, my previous work, they were paying my taxes because they were deducting from my pay slip. All right. Not knowing any, for 2 years working with the company, they only paid 4 months, just 4 months. And I was working for 2 years. They have been deducting these taxes, telling me that they have been paying the Ghana Revenue Authority all my taxes. But when we check on the system, I gave them my 10. The company had paid for just 4 months. All right. And this is the mindset. We are picking it, the companies are picking it, the senior men are doing the same thing. The youth, everybody wants to steal. And it's unfair because I worked all out for you guys. I even doubled up my work. I was doing too many stuff. Then I was being paid for just one role. But I was doing like three roles for the company. And you could do this to me. I go to the GRA, and they tell me, William, we need to put this on hold because you've not been paying your tax for the past 2 years. And me, I'm here thinking that the company has been paying because they have been deducting my salary. Okay, and this is the lifestyle we have. This is the bad mindset we have, and that's why we are not growing. All right, everybody wants to steal. If something is not going on well, for them to think of a way to make it work, they want the fastest route. All right, not everybody though, but most of the people are like that. See what this company is doing to me right now, and I just want to put a camera on me, and then, but I'm just holding on for a while. All right, so I think it is all about relearning, unlearning, and then learning. Because today I also saw a quote about this, that in this century, all right, in this generation, an illiterate is not somebody who cannot read and write, but somebody who refuses to relearn, unlearn, and learn new things. That is who an illiterate is currently. If you can't read and write, and then you'll be able to relearn and unlearn so many things that have been passed on from generation, it makes you illiterate, right? So I think this is one problem which is causing so many people not moving forward and not growing. It's a bad mindset. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, our mindsets is something we need to work on for sure. Victoria, so welcome. I see you. Thanks for joining us. Elaine, now you're the lovely one. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. Please do come back. Do come back. So I'll try and connect with you after the event. So we need the friends we can get, and clearly you have insights that we're learning from. So Elaine says sad. It makes you want to toss shoes at them. That's at least William wants to do. William wants to probably kill someone today. Don't do it, William. They don't really need you in prison for September, right? You need to talk about this on LinkedIn. More need to know. This is what we're doing, Elaine. We're trying, right? We're trying. Look, let me show you what kids say they want, and then we'll talk a bit more. Then I'll show you William's video, because now he's here. You need to know what he's doing and how we can support him. So let me show you what kids say, and then let's see what we think.
In the future, I want to become a lawyer. I want to see the Africa with gender equality, Africa with equal rights among ladies and gentlemen.
The Africa I want to see in the future is this new generation in Africa. However, my children are not being given social services or other critical things that may help them achieve their dreams, but the government should try its level base so that all of those children can get all of those social services so they can achieve their dreams. In this dynamic world, every person has his or her dream. In the future, I would like to become the parliamentary speaker of the Republic of Uganda.
The future for a child like me, basing off the things I have felt today and the change I do realize that I can make, I see myself as a person who will be making those policies that will be helping the people at grassroots levels. I see myself being able to sit with presidents and the United Nations members who are going to be making the greatest and best ways to help all those people. I see myself as one of the policy implementers, a politician, a doctor, people who will be there at the end of it all and at the beginning to make sure that people get what they need and what they want. We as the people today are basing off mostly on the Sustainable Development Goals 3, 8, 14 and 17. The Sustainable Development Goals are the major things that contribute and help the children of our nation and Africa at large.
I tell yeah. I'm sure the kids are not saying anything different to what we're saying. There is something there. I think that the two things that I think stood out for me is the gender equality. It's not just gender equality. It's equality full stop, right? We discriminated so much, and it holds us back. If you're not from the right family, the right tribe, the right village, you're screwed. That's ridiculous, right? You're not going to get the chance to do. Now, that's just not on, right? Now, this unemployment we'll talk about is, the numbers are huge. And the second thing that really struck me was the word social services. What does that mean? We know what it means in the West. Well, this is why we have agencies, right?
Well, holla to the gender equality. That
Yeah.
girl's right. That is
Yeah.
something that is prevalent in a lot of cultures where it's male patriarchy. And there is a lot of violence against women, and I will not stand for it.
Yeah, no. It's a problem because our women, our girls, our daughters, they're screwed before they even start. They're done. They have no chance half the time. And the parents, we talked about parenting earlier, and the parents adopt a weird parenting approach that just locks the daughters up and marries them off. They can't be someone's housekeeper essentially, which is I don't know. I'm using my words. So if anyone disagrees with me, you give me your take. I'll listen quite happily, right? Now, William, first, let me give you the mic.
Psychology. Do you understand the psychology that drives them parents into that kind of condition? Because there is a psychology that actually does that.
You are not audible.
I can hear Michael saying that it's the psychology. It's the psychology behind what makes parents behave like that. I think that's a problem with that. And I suppose that's a discrimination. William, your angle from the mental health side. It's a social services thing, really. So, so elaborate. What's the issue that you're finding? What's the issue that you are trying to help with?
Thank you. So, with what Prof. Rosanna said, and that's really going on here in Ghana and Africa. You go to school, and then you complete, and there's no job, and then you struggle. You try to do so many stuff. The opportunities are not there, and so it make people. Yeah, it make people think of doing something out of the box. Something that is not genuine, just to get life going on for them. Right. Some people who are not able to do that feel so depressed, feel so down, and then they get sad. All right. So I actually have been through that, where joblessness got me being mocked by my friends, and my family were not even paying attention to me because I wasn't contributing. I don't have the money to contribute to bills in the house, so I wasn't really looked at. Then it moves on to getting some jobs that you end up using your salaries as transportation back to work. So at the end of the day, you have nothing to save. You have nothing. You end up using your own money to fund yourself to go to work. You understand? So that's what has been going on here in Ghana. So for me, I went through that, felt depressed, had
Yep, there's the internet issue.
Yeah, that's
I'm sure log out, come back in. I'm sure he will. He's learned to use his two devices. William, log back in. You're back again.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, carry on, please. We lost it for a second. We lost it for.
Yes, sorry. So me being through all those journeys, living the city, go live in the forest, come back, being sacked from the house to go live my life. All these things got me to a point where I felt my life had come to an end. All right. And the suicide could have come to my mind. But I gave myself, God gave me strength, and I gave myself one more chance to try it again. And through that, I've been able to meet amazing people like any and some good people around the world, where I've been able to turn my pain into purpose. I've turned my struggles and all the depression I went through into something good right now, being 9 times bestseller, being featured on the Times Square billboard, gone to the UK to pick up international awards, and a whole lot of good stuff had come my way. And it's all because I didn't take my life. I didn't commit suicide when I went through these struggles. All right. Many of the youth in Ghana are going through this. Some of them are at the point of recently there are so many suicide cases in Ghana. Some in a relationship, young men like 18 years, girlfriend says she doesn't want a relationship again, and he kills himself. These are kind of things. But I am preaching that depression is always going to stay with us. It is part of life, and it's always going to be with us. You can't do away with it. But therefore, if you have a prepared mindset to face it when it comes, you are good to go. And this is what I'm preaching, and this is why I formed No Human is Useless. And so in September we are having a conference where we bring the youth in an auditorium where we share real life stories. This is not about clinical stuff. It is real life stories of people who have gone through struggles and pain and have been able to turn that into purpose. So we want to give this to the youth so that they know that if I have been able to do it, if I've been able to go through all these struggles and I've been able to do it, they can also do it. So it's a safe space where we are going to bring the youth together so we can talk about real life struggles and how to turn it into purpose, and then take suicide off the mind. And I'm so glad I've been able to make a video of this on TikTok, and currently it has 100,000 views and it's still counting. And my DM is flooded with about 500 messages from these youth who wants to be part of this conference because they are going through a lot. So this is what I'm trying to do this September to help, give them the mindset that, you can do it. Depression is there, but suicide is never an option. So that's what I'm doing this September in Ghana.
Thank you for explaining so much. I'll show you a video.
That suicide is also happening in Uganda, in Kenya, in Tanzania.
Yes,
in Nigeria. This is
everywhere. Everywhere.
There's a mental health issue in Africa that no one wants to discuss, and it's a hopelessness, it's a desperation, and
Yes.
everyone's happy to say the potential of our youth. But let's face it, true, that potential is going to get us nowhere unless we begin to address, what's it, Elaine? Not Elaine, Melanie, I see you. It's very true. We can't move forward unless we change our mindset. That's the truth, right? But look, this change is not going to happen by itself. This is the thing, right? People like William are trying. When William spoke to me, I was like, okay, this is a big thing. It's not a small thing, right? It's a huge thing. And I've never mentioned people with disabilities in Africa. They are. When I was growing up, anyone who had a mental health issue was tied against a tree all day. That's ridiculous. That's not
exactly how my sister described it.
That's what happens. That's what happens. We can't carry on being like this. We're not giving the youth a chance. They have no hope. If we treat people like that, it's so ingrained in us. I think we need to start changing on a huge scale. And look, it takes individuals. It takes you. It takes me. Look, the one thing I beg of you, anyone who's here now and who watches a replay, please support William's fundraising. William's doing a GoFundMe, type thing. William, please share the link. Share the link in the comments. I tried to find it, I couldn't find it. So share in the comments or send it to me on my DM. Whether you donate $1, $2, I don't. It's better than nothing, right? William and I on a bigger scale. I talked to Coach David yesterday, William, and he's willing to help us, right? He knows big companies. I'm saying companies must put their hand in their pockets. They must support our youth. Stop talking, start doing. Start really. Unless we do, nothing's going to change. We must understand this. I say, if you can spare $5, great. I'm saying anything you give will be, appreciated. But more than that, I think saying William has a plan to make sure everyone who supports his event will get the recognition, the visibility, and the credit. That's through the billboards that they're going to put people's names on. The magazine is going to do at the end of after the event for its sponsors and supporters. For the TV that's going to come to the event, I'm saying there will be a real reward for companies and the individuals who support the program. Let's be the ones who actually do put our hands in our pockets and do come along. And I say we're doing another event for William tomorrow. So William, we're doing another No Human is Useless event. So do join us if you can, my friends. So yes, Michelle, support William. Really support William. So
that would be good.
So every little step counts. And they said one of the things Coach David and I discussed yesterday is almost buying tickets for people to join the event, because William has 1,000-seater venue. And the tickets are $10 each. I'm saying if you want to buy, if you can get a place for 3 or 4 kids to come to the event and be inspired and really learn from others, to learn from other people's stories. That's right. You're not useless. You have a purpose. You're gifted. You're here for a reason. You're here with something. And we need to begin to turn that potential into something real, into a solution. That's what we have to do. There's no other way around it, right? We need to be the ones that actually support that. If you know someone who can support William, introduce them. Introduce them. It doesn't hurt, right? It's free. What's the worst they can say? No. If you know business in Africa, connect them with William. That's a solution. Let's have the conversation. Can they help? What do they want in return? We'll have to make sure it works for us, it works for them in return as well, right? Let's truly support William's cause. When he asked me a month ago, I was like, not interested. I'm not coming. Now I'm like, I'm coming, but we need to make this a big thing to affect and impact more people on a large scale. That's what I'm keen to do. That will require individuals and companies to put their hands in their pockets to make this happen. Let's stop talking. Let's start doing. Selena, how are you doing?
Hi.
How are you? It's been a minute, as my friends would say.
No, I'm tired. It's like this weekend is Granny's weekend, so
You're babysitting.
I just drove for now 3 hours to Milton Keynes in rain and coming back to drop off one of my granddaughters, and I had 2 other grandkids in the car, so extra careful and raining right through. So tired after being with them over the weekend, and I'm tired.
Thank you very much, Mama. Thank you very much for your sacrifice.
That one I can do it over and over again. I'll never get tired.
I feel your pain. I feel your pain for sure.
But it's good. It's a good reward.
That's the power of a black diamond, right there, Selena.
Thank you. Thank you.
So William shared the link in the comments here. I'm going to.
Yes,
sorry.
Can I ask a question about the link?
Of course. It's on the comments page now.
Yeah, as I have seen the link, I just want to know what time is it? I couldn't see the time there.
Okay, so this link is for the GoFundMe page, right?
Oh, okay.
So we are just preparing the documentation, the paperwork for the event, for the conference. I'll show you a video in a few minutes about the conference. So we're just preparing the paperwork that says what, who, and when. So that way it breaks down saying what we're promising the sponsors and how everything's going to work.
But actually, the conference will be on 21st of September. The date is 21st September. Yes.
Okay. All right. That's my question. Okay.
Sorry,
Anyway,
Annie. What is it about? I'm sorry, I just
Well,
came
I
back.
can certainly help. P.
please.
Willis, I'm gonna help you. We're
P.
gonna get this neighborhood helping you.
P.
Because
Willis,
that's great.
what's tell Selena about the conference, please. Should I show the video first? I can show the video.
But
Okay.
you
Yeah,
also
please
have
show the
to show
video.
pictures
Show
of
the
your
video.
daughter. I want more pictures of the baby.
Let me
Sure, I'll send you.
Let me
Please
show the
do.
video. No, so
All
Melanie,
right.
Melanie, I've just put the information, the link in the comments for this event, right? I can send you a DM later on with a link. You know, if that makes it easier, Melanie. So I'll make sure I remember that. Let me not forget. William, help. Where am I? I'm on StreamYard, right? Okay, let me show the video and then I'll find Melanie. Okay, so William's conference. I don't know. Which one should I show, William? Depression or the conference itself? You're mute.
Show the depression one so they get to understand it clearly.
All right, here goes.
Yeah.
This is my story. Depression is real and it's high time we take it seriously. I don't blame those who take their lives when they go through it. I only wish they could find the strength to hold on just one more day. Because I've been there and I've lived it. And there was a point I felt my life had come to an end. Imagine being asked to leave your family home when you have no job and nowhere to go. Imagine facing joblessness after being promised a good future. Living in the forest, drinking from streams alongside animals, friends mocking you because of your current situation. But little did I know that all these challenges were leading me to finding my purpose. I overcame all these adversities not because I'm a special human, but because God gave me strength, and I also waited just one more day. And it worked out. I found my purpose.
Too many people suffer in silence, feeling lost and without hope. Some don't make it through. But we believe in creating a safe space where young people and individuals can hear real-life testimonies, connect with mental health professionals, and discover their inner strength. Now this is why this September in Ghana, we are bringing the No Human is Useless annual conference to help individuals overcome depression, build emotional resilience, and find their true purpose. Join us.
No human is useless, I know. Through the darkness we still glow. Rising up from what we've been. Finding strength in where we've been. Hands got rough from earth so cold. Learn to mend what's
Excellent. If I can work out how to move the video on, I would. Okay.
Oh, that's powerful, William. That's really, really powerful.
Thank you.
That's
Look,
really powerful.
it takes individuals to make a difference.
When I was in the UK, I lived in Milton Keynes.
Do you?
Yeah, he did. You know,
I did, but I came for my awards.
You poor thing. I'm going there next week. I'm going to my sister lives in Milton Keynes. So
Oh,
I'm
I
going
was
to
just there today.
after your
Yeah.
show tomorrow, Liam, I'm going to London. I'm going to go to Milton Keynes at the weekend.
Wow.
Oh,
That's good.
And then drive home to Cornwall. That's 5 hours later. You know,
you are good, Jenny. I thought you're good.
I've got a nice car. That's good. That's. I watched it today in the rain, by the way, Selena. It's raining here too. So I was out there washing the car so that I can look good while I'm driving around.
Oh, mine is good as well. I was up there, so
I didn't want to say that. You know, you can't drive around with a terrible car, right? Joni, I'll send you the video for sure. I'll send you the video. You know, look, it takes individuals like William. Now, of course.
So William, you live in Milton Keynes?
No. He lives
No, I'm in Ghana.
Oh, you're in Ghana. I'll
Yeah.
ask my niece is in Ghana. She's studying in Ghana.
Oh wow.
So she that university, which is like, you see,
University of Ghana, Legon.
yeah,
KNUST.
I think she's like connected to Brown University in America. It was built by a Ghanaian.
A Ghanaian. Wow. I need to get the name. There are so many universities here. So
Now I'll ask her. Let's connect. I don't think I'm connected to you.
I'm not sure.
I'll connect you in the
Celine.
chat. So I'll connect you in the group chat, and then that makes
All right.
talk.
Good.
Yeah, that's
Good.
fine.
Thank you.
Same as Journey. Look, any bit of help we can get. So, what you saw was a small venue, 300 seater venue. I'm saying the 1,000 seater venue. That's a different scale, and that requires a lot more from William. You see, I think we're very good at saying to someone like William, "Great idea, you rock on. Good luck." we can't be like.
I know. I mean, it's like my desire of, like awakening, see empty nesters. It's like somebody says, no, it doesn't work. I feel, empty nesters, mothers, we don't do enough for our children. We're not ready when they leave. They are not ready when they leave. And so what can we do so that, both sides are ready?
Yes, I agree. I agree. But it takes all of us, and this is why I brought
It
this.
does, yeah. But when somebody says this is not working because it's just like a hobby to you. I mean, I know business takes long, but I feel I really love it because I see a lot of women suffering. I see a lot of kids suffering.
Thankfully, you're playing your part to ease that suffering in people, Selena, for sure. Of course, I know your cancer survival story as well, and that inspires people.
Wow.
Williams, look, let me say this quick. Dr. Roxana, I'm taking your book with me to Williams conference. I think
which book is that?
I think the passive income
strategy, financial freedom,
the financial freedom, the passive income strategies.
Okay.
Because it gives
please bring it along.
So
it gives people ideas of what they can do.
Okay, bring it along to the event, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll take it along, and if I can sell some copies, then great. But I want to give people real insights, real knowledge into what they can do to change their world.
Wow.
Creating income strategies, is doable, and our kids just don't know what they are.
I can actually send you my newsletter. By that time, my second edition will be out. You can use my first and second edition. Welcome, Selena.
I think your other book.
Can you send me a link to get your book as well?
Oh yeah. Okay. I want me to put the link in. I can put the link in the.
No. If you put that, I'll lose it in the chat.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I said again, connect. That's the answer. Connect.
Yeah. That's
Are you in
LinkedIn,
Selena? It's great to meet you.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Nice She's back on LinkedIn. Look, William, let's plan in public. And I say, Coach David was saying yesterday, why don't we do workshops? Because you can join remotely, by the way, my friend. You can join and speak remotely. So if you want to speak to the audience, at the conference, you can do it remotely, right, William?
Yes. So far, I have one speaker who will speak remotely. He's a Guinness World Record holder in the US, so he's going to speak. Yeah, and I have two of them coming down from the US too as well. Yeah, so it's doable. It's doable.
Yeah, I think we can probably look at doing some workshops around individual topics. Dr. Roxana might want to speak, about building wealth, because that's her thing. Selena, might want to talk about her empty nesters and how do we let our treasured kids go free in a good way, in a way that actually works for them and for us, right? So there's many other ideas. But so we're trying to make this conference impactful. We don't get many chances.
That would be brilliant.
That way, your book everybody will see your book too.
Yeah,
you might get to sell a lot of them.
Yeah.
William.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be a way to show people your.
Joni, your
Yes.
kids' book will be out by then.
And
So
also,
you can inspire kids with dinosaurs, right?
mhm.
Look,
Also, any before the conference, okay, 2 months before the conference, we are going to go on the street, the market women. We're going to go to the ghettos. Young men who are doing drugs and all of that. We're going to go to them and speak to them. Tell them what they think about no human is useless, and then we try to encourage them. So we're going to have series of that session. So we call it wisdom from the street, which we're going to do 2 months before the conference. Yeah, and so because these people, the market women, old women, people don't regard them, but these people give us food to eat. So, and most of them are very rich.
You see,
Very
especially
rich.
when they finish college. Especially
Exactly.
when they finish college and go back to their mom, to their after all they spent on them, they go back to the parents and live with them. Johnny, what do you say about that? That's not.
I would love for my children to just like dig a little tunnel to like at their house so I can just like be close to them at all times and like hold their little grandbabies whenever my kids are still in high school. So, but oh gosh, I love my children more than life itself. I love the culture. Most cultures are much more I don't know, like a bit more unified in the family that I really admire. My parents, all of their kids live out in Chicago and they live in Philadelphia and Paris and Florida, wherever they live, a bunch of places. And I'm like, why don't you come see like all of your grandchildren that live here? You have 7 of them and 3 children. I mean, come on. Because if it was me, I would be like right there. But then my son said, Mom, if you really want to be with all of us, what if we all end up in different countries? And I was like, honey, whoever has that baby first, I will be there. I was like, but you, my angel boy, I will never not be there for you unless you marry someone who I don't like.
No, but this is silliness conversation. How kids.
That's just joking. I just joking.
No. Most parents have to face up to this journey. And look, again, it's a message for our African youth. This is not a unique situation just in the West, right? This is a reality.
Annie, I met somebody yesterday. This lady, now she just connected with me on LinkedIn, and then she says, "Oh, I had my 2. They left for 4 years. Now they're back home. Imagine after going out for 4 years, then they come back home. As a mother, have you prepared them? Or I mean, they just know that, okay, going back home, mommy is going to cook, is going to wash, is going to clean. You are everything. We don't impart wisdom in those kids. My dad taught me to wash a shirt when I was 7 years old. I started cooking our traditional meal when I was 9. He was sitting on the chair saying, okay, put this, do this, and wash this, wash here. So when I was going to Form 1 secondary school, I could wash my own uniform. I could do things on my own. When I got back home, I knew on holidays, I would never ask anybody to do it. I could do it myself. So when I finished all levels and I left home, I was independent. I never went back home because I knew I could look after myself. But now you find that, even when they leave home in their 30s, they can't clean, they can't do much because you don't give them that. Mothers, we always want to say, oh, I love my kids. I love my kids too. I love them. I was a single mother for a long time. But my son, when he turned 14, I said, you are the father of the house. I don't wash my car. I don't put water. I don't do anything. You do. You empty the bin. But when it comes to cooking, you and your sister, you do the same thing. You cook, you clean. If I give you my son and say, look in this kitchen, go in his house, you would think the wife does everything, but he does it. You know, the wife was, even when he got married, the wife was saying, I have to, you know, like to pick up my skills, because, you know, if I leave anything, my husband is there cleaning. So it's like, okay, because he knows I'm not going, like what you're saying, nobody should be left behind. Like, I mean, I know that's what it should be. There's no woman's job, because a man will always also want to live on his own. He doesn't start by living with a woman. You start by living on your own. Then when you meet, you complement each other. But people are just thinking that, oh, my wife is coming, I'm getting married, she's going to clean for me, to wash for me, to cook for me. I mean, that's not it.
That's not how it works. Go on, Prof.
That's why I sometimes get annoyed when I think about it. I look at, you know, mothers say, oh, my son.
Oh, Selena, I want to I made a video on what we should teach our children 2 days ago, and I posted it in my YouTube channel. See, when we are in Africa, we kind of teach our children that when you are a boy, you just float around for the women to do everything for you. I don't know, Joe, I don't know if they teach is that, but anyway, I made it that there are 18 different things you have to teach your children, whether the child is a boy or a girl, because
I don't differentiate between my son and my daughters. I mean, they all know how to do their laundry. They all know how to put their laundry away. They all know how to cook dinner. They all know how to plant, you know, a tree for me. Yeah, I am very like you're like, I am very relaxed. I'm not an overbearing mother at all. And I really think that independence like teaches them a lot of life skills. And weirdly, I have been put down for some of that by other, you know, parents and my ex-husband like is using that against me, like that I didn't send my son to school with a coat, which was in his backpack, but he didn't want to wear the green coat. I'm like, fine, you can freeze. Okay. Like pretty normal response from my mom. But it's like, it's so tricky when you're a single mom here, because like you can just like immediately, like people can say that you're not doing everything. And there's such helicopter parents here in the United States, like just like, I'm like, sorry, I missed the sign up like for basketball.
Joni, no, we know that life skills is what it's about.
Oh, I know. Yes, I know.
That matters.
So many people who are not divorced don't know that though, and also have money to have, you know, a cleaning service, or, you know, have I don't know, DoorDash deliver all the time. It's like it is a little frustrating because I do feel some situations.
Prof mentioned 18 things. You know, so I grew up in state care, and part of the responsibilities that they have to give you life skills. Like, they call it independent living skills. The part of that is managing money. Part of that is managing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And building, building savings, building wealth, making sure you have a backup plan. You know, so there's so many things that are involved that our kids learn. You know, again, if anyone thinks this is not important to supporting Africa's youth, I think this is where it lies, right?
I think it is. Yeah.
I think jobs, yes, for sure, but also support to be happy adults is important. Support with mental health.
Yeah, I think like that's important for mental health, to feel like you're able to sustain your life on your own. It is important. I mean, like my 16-year-old, she's about to turn 16 like next week, and her dad's getting her like a new Tesla. And I was like, oh, nice. Okay. And I'm giving her a CD that she can't touch for 5 years.
I like that. You know, thankfully, I don't like Teslas. I'm a kind of guy. I'm Nigerian. Nigerians don't.
I
When they say
know. I drive a
people say
Dodge
mistake.
Ram, yo. Like I mean, like this Tesla costs so much more than my car. It's ridiculous. But it's fine if that's how he feels like his money is best spent. That's fine. But I think by giving her an investment that she can use at a really critical time in college, and she's a really good kid, and so I feel like that's a way better investment. Also, I'm not rich.
Yeah, no, I hear you. You know, Melanie say, don't generalize. US is not a whole country thing. Of course, nowhere is a whole thing, right? I don't think, you know, everywhere
No,
there's some good there's some bits of good practice everywhere. But I think, you know, if we work on the average or on the whole, there's gaps that we need to fill for our kids, especially for young people to achieve their potential.
Yeah, I think it's like it happens everywhere, but we just need to be, to keep it going. Otherwise, yes, some people are very good at the top of the game, but others, they just want to be reminded.
Yes.
It's just reminding each other that, if you are building a man or a woman or a lady, so if you are not going to help that lady, you are killing it, destroying the future. So we
Exactly.
want, the future, MPs, presidents, but we want them to say, okay, I did this when I was young. I could look after myself. I was independent since when I was 12 or so, or earlier than that. Then you know that person has confidence in themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, I had
it's that word, confidence in themselves.
Yeah, I had a friend who had this daughter of hers. She didn't want to go to uni. No, she's British. She didn't want to go to uni, this daughter. Then she had a baby. And the baby, she's overly protective. But then now she wanted to prove to the son, the baby now is a boy, teenager. For her, for this, she wants so much for her son. But she's still overly protective. She went to uni. Now she has completed a degree. She used to work at the University of Birmingham, but she never had any degree. But after that, she wanted to prove that you can study. She went back to school, went to uni, then she went to teach where the son is, where she used to went to for his O levels. And now it's like, okay, the mother she's living on her own. Their house is immaculate. But the mother used to take beans, like black beans, and put them in the bedroom because she didn't want to empty. You would go in the bedroom and everything over the floor. Just because the mother was always there. Just because she wanted to prove a point that it's her room. Nobody can come in and tell you what to do. But it's in your house. And I mean, it's like, okay, now she has her own house. But it started by being, hard for her. Inviting people to come, your friends to come and help her. And I mean, the thing is, she now needs to let her son be free, but she's not. It's like,
that's not going to help anyone. That's not going to help anyone in the long run.
It's tough. It's loving. I mean, we don't need to tie our children like that. Painful.
Look, Michelle says, I learned to survive at the age of 9. My children learned that too. I'm going to come to you, Michael. I heard you saying something.
Yeah, I
Michelle
did that.
was paying taxes at 12 years old.
I was just responding to Selena, just encouraging her to continue talking. Otio, Selena, Otio, Ogambachi.
If he speaks Swahili.
But I'm not so sure if she is Ugandan.
No,
I believe she is.
I'm Zimbabwean.
Yeah, Zimbabwe.
Oh. Okay, I'm sorry.
But
you sound a lot like a Ugandan.
Again, it paints a picture. Say we're from different parts of Africa.
The beginning of time, there were no demarcation lines. these beautiful people who are pink, they came in and destroyed it. I'm sorry if there's anybody that, but it's a fact. They gave us demarcation lines, and that's what we are working on, destroying those lines so that we are free to mingle wherever. I could decide to come and live in Ghana. I could decide. I've got my friend of mine, she lives in Ghana. We worked together for years. I call her mama, but she's a beautiful friend. And so
Hey,
it's like, I mean, I call Ghana my home. I've never been there, but one day I'll come and visit.
well,
But I
That's
I'll
just
think,
I'll challenge you to come to visit
Please
Uganda
come for the
anytime that you
conference.
have
Come
more
for the
friends.
conference. Come for the conference.
yes, no, you should. So,
well, I mean, my niece is graduating next year, so I promise you that I'll go for the graduation.
yeah.
But yeah,
So all these things they do matter. Yes, we can think about the infrastructure and things like that. I think emotional health, mindset,
yeah,
and opportunities and the right support. Everyone has a little bit they can all do. This is why I love what William's doing. We have to support the work he's doing. But no, well, we will. We all can, right? I don't want to keep this too long, so I know I have another show to go to. So I guess let me go around my stage. I don't know whether you see what I see. William's top left, Selena's in the top middle, Professor top right. So sometimes what I see is not what you see on these events.
I know.
You have a way of putting you somewhere and putting me somewhere, but I always move myself around. So, William, what's your final message today? What do you want us to really go away and do to support
So
Africa's
all
youth?
I want to say is that yes. So all I want to say is that every human being, has a special talent inside of them that needs to come out. But sometimes we need to go through struggles and pain to bring it out. So struggles and pains are not meant for us to commit suicide. All right. So please stay calm when things are going rough. Keep calm, meditate, pray, and then you find clarity. All right. So thank you so much, and I would love you to support this initiative, and then let's help the young guys here in Ghana.
I agree with you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much, William. That's a question I have before we finish.
go for it.
There's an advertisement here that says advertise on Google and Facebook. Who is doing that? Is that any?
Where can you see that?
There's
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
advert.
Okay, yeah. That's me. That's me. Okay,
Okay.
so I've learned how to put a background on my StreamYard.
Okay. And I want you to know that before you advertise, you want to let people who come. I don't know, maybe I don't have to say it here, but you need to tell us before we come in so that we know what we are going to expect. But that's good. So another thing is, do you like?
I make you famous. You see that along the top, right? Melanie, thank you for joining us. Thank you so much, Melanie. Thank you. So I'll DM you after the event. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, let me ask one more. I don't know if it is.
Please.
Okay. Do you think that advertising on Google and Facebook is actually good for you?
Yes, of course.
How does that affect your business?
Right. When it comes to marketing, Prof, there's many ways we can do marketing, right? And everyone's fallen into the trap of thinking, if I post, they'll see it and they'll buy. They don't. If you post as much as you like, not enough people are going to see it. You can't build a business on just post alone.
Okay.
Right. Whereas when you advertise, more people see your content. They see what you're selling. I'm doing a campaign right now for a clothing brand called Mutelli.
Okay.
Right. I do the posts on Facebook. I do the posts on LinkedIn. I do the posts on TikTok to anyone else.
TikTok.
Right?
Okay. So
it's all right getting views. It's all right getting likes. It's all right getting comments. But you're not going to get enough buyers. Whereas by doing Facebook ads for him, people see the brand, and more people see the brand, It's not just, and of course, you have to set parameters to target your ideal clients. When your ideal clients see your products, your adverts, they click and then go to your website and they buy. On Google,
anyway,
think about Google work. People go to Google to search for stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
No, you go to search. So if you're searching for, I don't know, a pair of jeans, when you see an ad, you tend to want to click on to see what the jeans are, because it might be what you really want, as opposed to hoping and praying people see your post and they react. Of course, this medium events is a whole different medium, because this one is more about engaging people and talking to people in real time. People love that. It makes them think, like we've done today. Something William has all of us here interested in his conference.
Yes, go William. Right. You go.
You see, it's done posts about it, but events like this, it means you get to hear him, you get to see him, you get to understand his what drives him.
That's a good. That's a good. Very good. All right, so I'm asking because I have an invitation to advertise in Google, and so that's why I'm asking you. So I might want to. Let me tell you the truth. I think the cost is too much. What do you think about the cost?
Yeah, well, look, advertising is big boy game. It's big boy game. Big woman game. You have to be willing to spend good money. Good money.
Goodness gracious! I don't want to tell you how much.
If the returns, if you can make more than you pay, Dr. Roxana, you're winning.
Okay. I don't want to tell how much they charge me for 1 month, so let's stop there. But anyway, I
can imagine Google before it used to be. I think you used to get £50, £50 of free ads. Now they're into the hundreds. So they give you £300 to advertise, but you have to pay £300 to get that £300.
Oh goodness! Anyway, thank you so much for. Thank you.
As a marketer, I'm lazy. I don't want to be chasing my clients around the internet. I just want to do an advert and then see the numbers come in and look at my clients and say, "Are you selling?" If they say no, I'm like, "Change your website, change your products, do something different." Because they're clicking, they're not saying what they want, they're not buying. Anyway, let's finish our show, Prof. We'll talk later.
Later on, okay, all right.
So, what's your final message for us today? What in terms of helping our youth to become who they can be, achieve that potential William talked about?
Is that for me? The youth needs to keep doing what they're doing, keep hustling, because I see a lot of them are doing very well. All the technology, AI stuff, they are dabbling into them. Some of the AI stuff are free. Some are reasonable. They can start getting in there, creating these videos, African videos, and getting into. Let them not be afraid of signing up for YouTube channel, because those who are aggravative and doing very well, they have already been monetized. They're already making money on YouTube. So I advise anybody that is struggling to get into YouTube, start making those videos and posting there. You never know. You could be one of the great ones that will be monetized. I know it's not easy to get monetized in YouTube, but it's worth your effort to get that 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, and you get monetized. And maybe I just want to let you, the rest is history. The rest is history, because it can pay your bills. It can actually take you a whole lot. So all you need to do is you post your videos and you watch other people who are doing the same thing. There are so many people teaching you how to post your videos, how to own a YouTube channel, and it's a business, and it's a good business. So I do that, and I just want to let you know, if you want to get into YouTube channel, and maybe actually get into other social media. Some people do very well in TikTok. Some people do very well in Instagram. Some do very well in Facebook. So wherever you see yourself and you're doing well there, people make money in social media. So it depends on where you want to do. So that is my advice I'm trying to answer your question.
I
So this is the. Go ahead. So this is
William and
my
I
answer to the youths, African youths. And I think they already know, because wherever I look, I see another Ezra. Wherever I look, I see Abo. All these names are African, Nigerian names actually. So when I hear the last name, I say, oh, you're a Nigerian. They'll say yes. And they'll start speaking my language. So now I know that a whole lot of them, they know what they're looking for, what to do. And actually they are finding it. You see, can I be your Facebook manager? I hired one of them. Look, I have to know who you are before. So I hired one of them to be a videographer. I mean, a video, the person that helps with my video. So I'm just watching, just 2 weeks. He has worked for me for 2 weeks, and he knows a whole lot. And just because he's in Nigeria, people didn't know that he knows a lot. This thumbnail, just tell him, okay, can you make thumbnails for my the video I just posted? Before you know it, look up and look at, he has made the thumbnails. You see how intelligent these graduates from Africa are, but they don't have jobs, but they are smart. You see, so what my advice to them is, don't sit and wait for the food for hands me down from the government. Look for what to do. Start hustling. Let them hustle. The social media is a good way. You never know. You can be you can get in there wherever you want to get to. Don't just be stuck in one of them. If you go to TikTok, try YouTube. Also try Instagram. Try Facebook. You never know which one is going to work. So don't lie down and wait for food. Hands me down. No, that's not hands me down.
Thank you.
No hands me down anywhere.
This is why I say I'll bring Dr. Roxana's books, William, because her books talk about how to build wealth.
Yeah.
And you might think everyone knows Dr. Roxana. Not everyone knows. More people.
Yeah.
And
So we need to
fine.
You need to help ourselves, and they also need to help themselves with financial education. Nobody teaches you financial education. You have to find a way to teach yourself. Luckily, there are so many books, ebooks. You can get into the audiobook and Amazon and read for almost free. So read, listen to these books. Nobody. I thought I was the department head in my school in Africa. No, there was nothing like there was nothing like a financial education. That was a mathematics department. So, and that was that was a math department. So we don't teach anybody financial education. You have to go and learn it. And you finish your degree in accountancy, like I did, you finish in whatever, and you don't know how to manage credit card. And you don't know what is called, you don't know how to manage money. You haven't started. You don't know a lot. I can just tell you that. With your PhD, but you don't know how to manage money, you still don't know a lot. So,
yeah.
I agree. No, thank you so much, Professor. Michael said our time is rushing past us. So, Michael, take your 2 minutes, my friend. What do you want to leave us with today?
Well, basically, a focus on establishing communication with the younger ones. There was a video that I suppose you're supposed to show, and I'm not so sure if you actually did show it, with the youth. The youth had to have a voice. I'm waiting to hear what the youth have to say about this.
I showed it. I showed you what the kids said. The kids said they want gender equality and social services. I'm sure you were here for that bit. Maybe not.
Social services and gender equality.
Yes.
Huh. But that was their main focus?
Yes.
Not, I want to get out of poverty?
No, because poverty is not the problem. The problem is our discrimination and our pettiness in Africa that doesn't give people a chance unless you're from a certain family or a certain village or certain tribe. That's the problem. And the way we treat girls in Africa is shocking.
Not just cultural diversity.
Yes.
Annie, you can finish with your PhD in whatever, maybe you are from Anambra, and somebody finishes with BSc, but the person is from the north, and the president is from the north. That's all they need. And tomorrow they are hired as the Minister of Health.
It's discrimination, people. Let's say
yes, that's what I'm saying. The discrimination, the diversity. If you don't belong to that state, then your degree is like paper. So it's unfortunate that we have that, and we have to deal with it. And these kids,
that's something that's taught at home.
I think
that should be removed.
I think the social services thing is a bigger thing than we realize. That's what William's working on. It's what agencies do in the West, social services.
So thank you for what you're doing, William.
Kids will help education, we help security. We do things that people, we provide mental health services, which we don't do in Africa. What the hell is going on? We do, but it's charities, not for profits. It's people begging for people's money to help our kids.
So how many adults can align with this? I mean, understand that this is an issue that they're facing, or that this is something that they need to tackle.
I do. I think William does too. I think they're not true. I think we all do. So when we watch the video, we didn't say they're wrong, but I think what adults think, is further down the line, Michael. I think the kids, we need to let kids be kids with the protection, and remove the risks that they face. Not remove all of them, but at least reduce the impact of those risks. Without social services, we're screwed. Our kids are screwed. Our families are screwed.
It's absolutely imperative that we organize ourselves in such a manner that we address issues that the kids are facing right away. But at the same time, we also address issues that we know that they're going to face also later on in the future, that we understand that they are not aware of. So we need to focus on what can be done now, and they are telling us what can be done now, and we also need to focus also on what we can do ourselves now. So and also somebody said something about collaboration. We also need to understand that since we are peoples from many different cultures, we need to understand the power of collaboration and the necessity of it. Collaboration and cooperation in a shared goal and focus on getting that accomplished. We used to have cooperatives in the past. I do not know what happened to them. We used to have a lot of cooperatives in the past. And then, I don't know, something happened and they broke down and went away. At least in East Africa, I'm pretty sure we used to have them. And then Idi Amin came along. Disappeared.
And so eating people. Yeah, it's not funny. Idi Amin's a lunatic. But let's forget about that for a second, right? Michelle says the youth need a voice. Need a voice. Our youth now. That's where someone clearly agrees.
Right. We need to give them a voice, and we need them to build their own future, and we need to allow them to do that. We Africans, especially parents and adults, tend to think that we're the last voice, last word, that we're always right. No, absolutely not. I mean, in this day and age, we are not right. And my mom always says, you need to understand that I'm always right. Even if I may be wrong, I am always right. No. My sisters have grown up knowing that that is not always the case. And that is why there is such a huge battle in the house. And that is where she's getting stuck on that consistently, constantly. That traditional, I am always right. Because her mom was always right. No. You can't carry that over. And you can't say that because it's not true. Sisters can't be right.
I mean, William, I just said that. I used to say that to my kids. I mean, I'm never right. Because if I'm wrong, let's say I did my hair in a way that may make people laugh at me, or my zipper is open and you see it, and then you're afraid of telling me, people will laugh at me. So if I'm wrong, please correct me, because I know you do it out of love. If the world will see me and laugh at me, what will that do to you?
Oh, very powerful.
Because I
Are you
always
sure you're not a Ugandan? Oh my God, you must be.
no, because now even sometimes, like, my son will tell me, Mom, this is not right. Why don't you just calm down a bit? And I'll listen to you. And my daughter
And
will say, Mom, I think that is not right. The way you said it is not right. And I went to McDonald's with my grandchildren today. My daughter was there. And then this girl, I asked her to clean the table because it was dirty. She didn't like. She cleaned the part of the table because somebody white was sitting there. And I asked her, she didn't want. So she went to the till and she was, like really feeling bad about it. Then I just said to my daughter, I'm going to leave the table smeared with the, tomato sauce. And she says, Mom, don't do that. And I just looked at her and I knew that, she's speaking from the heart. And she says, and because I taught her to say, if I'm wrong, what is it going to help me to show that girl that, I can smear the table, then you can clean it. It doesn't help me. So just leaving her like that and thanking her for cleaning after us. Even she didn't want to clean before us. So sometimes, it's like those who love you, who are closest to you, will tell you the truth if you're open to it. But, people, like, I can smear the as a family, it doesn't help me. So just leaving her like that and thanking her for cleaning after us. Even she didn't want to clean before us. Sometimes, it's like those who love you, who are closest to you, will tell you the truth if you're open to it. But,
There's a lag on LinkedIn, so I think that's what we're hearing.
I'm sorry if I'm the one.
We're losing Selena's connection.
That's okay.
The
It
internet.
is a lag on LinkedIn, but no worries.
Go on, Janie. What's your final words for us today?
Final words. Basically, I think that increased awareness about parenting skills is certainly important for everyone, to give your children the flexibility to make their own decisions, but also be there for their educational goals. And I think that's really key to make them feel like part of your little family community. And, I think that parents can impart so much wisdom on their children. And so sometimes you are right. And sometimes they do have to follow your rules. And, obviously, like, you don't want to be walking around with your zipper down, but, you know what? I wouldn't care about that. Whatever.
That's saying it for you. Look, thank you.
But yeah, let's get
oh no, you're losing your connection as well now. Damn.
Yeah. What?
Okay, you're back again.
What did Michael say? Museveni?
I have no idea. The Michael speaking.
Is that us?
How
you pronounce the name, or
Yeah, that's right. Museveni.
Right, Joan is frozen now, though. My friends, we need to go. So we need 2.5 hours. I feel bad for you. Michelle has to go as well. Michelle, thanks for joining us. Thanks for engaging us. You always do. Prof, look, there's more things. Like, look, there's more things on my list than just Google. I'm just doing ads. It's a life-size banner on my wall.
Oh yeah.
What I and how it helps, right?
I'm not regretting. I love learning from you because I've never seen this. This is my first time seeing somebody, but I said, okay, I need to ask this question as the last question so I don't forget.
It's all
No,
right.
thank you for
Brandon. No,
thank you. Because
Bye.
now I know. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you,
William.
everyone.
I'm going to be there. I hope I don't miss it.
No. So I'll connect you with William. I'll connect you with William.
Yeah.
And then
because I'm trying.
have the conversation.
Okay.
When does the GoFundMe end, William?
Sorry, I mean, I think it's something with the StreamYard, maybe. I don't know.
It ends in 4 days. In 4 days time.
4 days. So if you're going to contribute to William's GoFundMe, please do it now. Do it now.
Okay.
Don't wait 4 days. I say I'll connect you with William in the group chat and then have the conversation.
You are to. I want to see pictures of the baby.
You can.
I will. I will send to you. I'll send to you. No problem.
Wow! Congratulations! Didn't know you had a baby.
Oh, this is
I
now.
have 2
Now
girls.
he's advocating for women's rights.
Oh, you have 2 girls. That's good. Congratulations.
Hi, girl dad now. He's girl dad.
Yeah.
Just wait till they become teenagers. They're loco.
Yes. William's got all that fun to have, all that joy to experience.
That's really good.
Look, my friends, so we're back here again in 2 weeks' time, but William and I are back tomorrow with No Human is Useless event. So do join us.
So, what time tomorrow? Because tomorrow I have to.
Tomorrow, same time, 5 o'clock.
5 p.m.
Yes, my time. What's that your time? In your EST, right? So 5 p.m. is 12.
It's 12. Okay. Hopefully I'll be able to get there. Okay. All right.
Awesome.
Well, I learned a lot from you people today. Thank you.
We always learn from you too, my friend. Thank you so much for being a star. We'll talk later.
Thank you.
Join us in 2 weeks' time, my friends. I have another topic that's I'm sure it's going to be engaging for sure.
That will interest. Okay. That's good.
So bye everyone.
All right. Bye. See.
Global.Media.com.